Hi everyone, I hope all of you guys are doing well. So today I'm going to go ahead and give you some of my observations about the recent prelims paper of 2023 that came this year. Obviously, all of you, pretty much everyone has asked me to give me my honest views, my observations, what do I think and how after this paper you all should prepare, the aspirant should prepare for UPSC. क्योंकि बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स को ऐसा लगा है कि ये काफ़ी डिफ़िकल्ट पेपर आया था और डिफ़िकल्ट पेपर आने की वजह से जो लोग इस बार अपना अटैम्प्ट दे रहे थे, मे बी इट वॉज देयर लास्ट अटैम्प्ट, मे बी इट वॉज देयर फर्स्ट और सेकेंड अटैम्प्ट, और डेफिनेटली यू मस्ट हैव प्रिपेयर्ड वेरी हार्ड फॉर इट, वट एवर अटैम्प्ट इट वॉज. So they might be in a lot of dilemma. What is the cutoff going to be? Whether they have any chance of writing the mains. Number two. Number three, how one should prepare next year. If you have lost the hope for this year, for preparing for next year, how should you go and approach it? Because this was definitely a tough paper. तो ये सभी तरह के questions आपके दिमाग में आ रहे होंगे and those are definitely legitimate and good questions. तो मैं उन सब के बारे में आपको कुछ अपनी observations बताना चाहता हूँ. And the first observation is from my understanding of this paper. जैसे मैंने पेपर पढ़ा, I read the questions that have come from environment, that have come from history, that have come from science and tech, economy, etc., polity. I believe definitely this paper was a notch up from the other papers, the past papers that have come in UPSC. और उसका रीज़न क्या है? ये नॉच अप, ये थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्ट पेपर क्यों हो गया, उसका मैं आपको एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट और सिंपल रीज़न बताता हूँ. देर आर टू रीजन्स फॉर इट. Number one, change in the way they are asking questions, UPSC is asking questions, or change in the way UPSC is providing the solutions or the options. जो options हैं वो pairs में हैं या फिर 1 right, 2 right, 3 right, 1 correct, 2 correct, 3 correct. जो ये change हुआ है अचानक से, I think that has bowled a lot of people. देखिए, I will give you a very simple analogy of it, and that analogy you can take from cricket. रिगार्डलेस ऑफ हाउ गुड ए बैट्समैन यू आर, आप कितने भी अच्छे बैट्समैन हो, आप सचिन तेंदुलकर हो सकते हैं, विराट कोहली हो सकते हैं, आपका कितना भी एक्सपीरियंस हो सकता है, कितना भी टैलेंट हो सकता है, टेक्निक कितनी भी अच्छी हो सकती है, पर आपने नोटिस किया होता है जब भी एक नया बॉलर आता है, अच्छा डिसेंट बॉलर नया बॉलर आता है, तो उसको फेस करने में बहुत डिफिकल्टी होती है और लाइकलीहुड है कि आप आउट हो जाते हैं. या फिर कोई नई चेंज आती है बॉलिंग में, लेट्स से शेन वॉर्न इज बॉलिंग लेग स्पिन लेग स्पिन लेग स्पिन और अचानक से ऑफ स्पिन डाल दे, या जैसे मुरलीधरन करता था, वो अचानक से गुगली डाल देता था. तो इस तरह से जब चेंज होता है बॉलिंग में तो बैट्समैन को बहुत डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है प्ले करना, बिकॉज समथिंग अनएक्सपेक्टेड हैपन्स, समथिंग चेंज हैपन्स, और उसमें भी 1 सेकंड मिलता है, राइट. रिएक्शन टाइम इज माइक्रो सेकेंड्स. सिमिलरली यहाँ यूपीएससी में सेम चीज़ हुई है. सिमिलर थिंग हैज़ बिन रिपीटेड वेर यू ऑल एज बैट्समैन यू माइट बी वेरी वेल प्रिपेयर्ड. आपने पूरे साल अच्छी मेहनत करी, बट योर प्रिपरेशन वॉज इन ए सर्टेन डायरेक्शन, बिकॉज कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स आर टेलिंग यू एलिमिनेशन मेथड यूज़ करो. इवन मैंने बोला है एलिमिनेशन मेथड यूज़ करो, बिकॉज इट वॉज वर्किंग फॉर मैनी ईयर्स, राइट. सेकेंडली, वी हैव टोल्ड यू अबाउट वॉट काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स यू शुड बी रीडिंग. बेसिक स्टफ पढ़ो, ओवरऑल अंडरस्टैंडिंग कॉन्सेप्ट्स की बनाओ, वो अब भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, रहेगा. बट बिकॉज ऑफ दैट लॉट ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स हैव नॉट प्रिपेयर्ड ए लिटिल बिट मोर इन डेप्थ, and this paper expected a little bit more in depth approach. I won't say that this paper was such कि आपको बहुत डेप्थ में जाना है, but definitely the kind of depth and the kind of awareness and the attention to detail we have, it is expecting a little bit more. So it was a googly of a paper, it was something that is new. Normally बैट्समैन को क्या होता है, फास्ट पेस आता है, कितना भी फास्ट आए आप हैंडल कर सकते हैं. इफ इट इज एक्सपेक्टेड, इफ इट इज अनएक्सपेक्टेड, regardless of how well prepared you are, you might fail. So similarly, UPSC has done that this year. It has changed the pattern from both two perspectives. Questions भी थोड़े से hard दिए हैं, definitely hard questions आए हैं. I'm not going to say the questions were easy. Polity questions I would say are attemptable, doable. 1-2 questions of financial bill वाला question hard है, उसके ऊपर ही सब लगे पड़े हैं. Come on, out of 20 questions of polity, you're not going to get all of them right. But 80% you can get them right, 70% you can get them right. So what I'm trying to say is definitely paper का नॉच पड़ा है, questions की quality में थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा उन्होंने they have asked a little bit more factual oriented questions. They have asked questions which require a little bit more attention to detail, more awareness, more reading, more retaining, which is not easy to do. So this skill you have to develop, retaining, recalling skill. But along with that, what they have also done is UPSC has also changed the nature of options that are given. And because of this change in options and questions, it has become more difficult. मतलब एक चीज चेंज करते और elimination still was available, then you would have found it doable. But because both things are now taken out, you have found it even more difficult to do. And definitely I can say, see, today with my level of knowledge of these things, I would have definitely not cleared this exam. Definitely. But if I was preparing and I was appearing, then I would have tried to do certain things so that next attempt mein I am able to perform. Next attempt mein I am able. See, past is past. I always say, once your moment has gone from your hand, you cannot get it back. Unfortunately, this time, because of the nature of the paper, injustice has happened. Because you prepared in a certain way and that did not happen. Unfortunately, I'm sorry about that, and that is not an easy thing to get over. But you have to move on. The quicker you move on, the people who move on fast will have a better chance next time. The people who are today thinking that maybe UPSC is not my cup of tea, maybe I should use my productive years of my life, whether I want to go into the private sector, whether I want to go into public policy sector, those people who are thinking that, they should make that decision and move on. Because I can tell you as an officer, you will have 100 of ways in which you can do same things or better things than other officers, lot of officers. It is all about how you capitalize the opportunity that you are given. All IAS officers are not the same. All IRS, IPS officers, IFS officers are not the same. Some do well, some don't do well. Similarly, in private sector job also, a lot of people become CEOs, a lot of people do very well, others don't. So same thing, you have to think that if you are passionate about public policy, government, you can come into government in other ways. You can get your masters in public policy, you can get masters in economics, finance, you can get your masters in a specific engineering field, and then you can even go for other technical exams. You can go for IES, the engineering service, the economic service, or you can go for other options like lateral entries. Now Niti Aayog is hiring a lot of young professionals. Very good way to get into the government. तो इस तरह से भी आप अपना फ्यूचर बना सकते हैं अच्छी डिग्री लेके. अगर आपके फाइनेंशियल रिसोर्सेज कमी है तो यू ट्राई फॉर स्कॉलरशिप्स. यू मे बी डू ए जॉब फॉर 2 years. आप कहीं और दूसरे, यू कैन गो फॉर SSC एग्जाम, यू कैन गो फॉर स्टेट लेवल एग्जाम, यू कैन गो फॉर अदर एग्जाम्स, एंड 2-3 years जॉब करके देन यू कैन ट्राई टू कम इन टू द प्राइवेट सेक्टर और गेट ए हायर डिग्री, higher level degree, so that you will have some financial security. About all these options in private sector, I will possibly talk to someone in the private sector who has been an aspirant and is doing well. I will try to get a few of those people on my channel so that वहाँ से आपको एक options भी मिले. Important है, बहुत important है. मैंने भी रखा था, मैंने भी I was working at that time, so I was having that backup. Of course, I did take off when I was preparing full time, but I had a backup because it is important. But it doesn't mean that your backup should be making you comfortable. Hunger होनी चाहिए, determination होना चाहिए. थर्ड अटेम्प्ट में भी हो, फोर्थ अटेम्प्ट में भी हो, वो डिसीजन ले लिया है तो डिटर्मिनेशन होना चाहिए, निकालना है. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि यू आर थिंकिंग दैट ओके आई हैव एन ऑप्शन सो आई कैन ऑलवेज गो टू इट. मेरे फादर का बिजनेस है, आई कैन ऑलवेज गो टू इट. आई कैन ऑलवेज अप्लाई फॉर जॉब्स थ्रू माई नेटवर्क एंड गेट इट. या कंफर्टेबली प्रिपेयर में नहीं रहना. कंफर्टेबली प्रिपेरेशन में रहेंगे तो कभी कुछ नहीं हो पाएगा. यू विल नॉट क्लियर इट. You have to put in the hard work, you have to put in the sincerity, you have to put in the dedication, you have to experiment and pivot. This year I took the interview of rank 3 Uma, amazing human being. She cleared in her 5th attempt and she kept changing her strategy when it was not working for her. She was very smart that way and she was very honest that first 2 attempts, 3 attempts तो मुझे पता ही नहीं चला what was going on. But I learned from those mistakes. I learned from those experiences. And then she got rank 3. She just absolutely just did so well in the exam. So this is also important for you to hear. So like I said, number 1, थोड़ा सा preparation अब change करना पड़ेगा UPSC को. आगे जाने के लिए, see, if you are preparing for next year, if you are getting anywhere above 80, start preparing for mains. I feel that the cutoff will definitely be lower, but see, I cannot promise you कि 80 cut off आएगा. No one can promise you anything. This is just a reading of what others are saying. So I'm assuming that, let's say, anything above 80, because if you are getting 80, that means you have some sort of a preparation. You have done okay in this exam. So if you have getting that much marks, CSAT 66 plus you are getting, then you should definitely go ahead and start very hard preparing for the mains exam that is going to come soon. If you are not getting 80, if you are getting 75, you are getting 70, you might have not cleared the CSAT, then you should, and if you are thinking that nahi mujhe exam dena hai, start preparing for mains again, because anyways next year you have to right now there is no point of preparing for prelims. You prepare for mains, finish your optional for next year, finish your GS subjects, and then when there are 4 months left, I always say 4 months left, you start your prelims preparation, dedicated prelims preparation. Number 3, if your CSAT is weak, you are getting only 35 marks, 40 marks, 50 marks in CSAT, 65 marks, 60 marks in CSAT. If your CSAT is weak, every week give 1 day to CSAT dedicated. Follow this. Every week give 1 or 2 days to CSAT. Improve your CSAT. See, this year CSAT, the way it was structured was that comprehension was easy. That English comprehension and Hindi comprehension, those paragraphs those were easy. But the mathematics part became very tough. So I even know people who have gone to IIT Bombay and who are not clearing CSAT because they strategy उनकी बहुत poor रही, tactical उनकी poor रही planning. They got stuck in math questions और पूरा time निकाल दिया और comprehension पे आए नहीं. And the comprehension was so easy that if you had just attempted the comprehension, it would have been likely that you would have got 50-55 marks anyways. So that having that ability to quickly pivot during the test time also under pressure. See, they are always going to give you opportunities somewhere or the other in the paper. If mathematics is hard, comprehension is easy. If comprehension is easy, mathematics might be lighter. And it's 66 marks, you need 33%. Don't argue me over 33% is not a very high cutoff, to be honest. Okay, so this point I'm not going to take from you, from the aspirants, that sir, CSAT was too hard, it was like CAT, it was above CAT. Okay, it was like CAT, but what about the comprehension part? It was easy. That was, you could have used that part to get through it, but you might have poorly managed the strategy there, the tactics there, how to manage your time, what questions to look at. So this is what you have to do in the next 1.5 years. If you're planning next year CSAT, if you're weak at CSAT, there are a lot of YouTube videos and a lot of good institutions in the market that provide good CSAT guidance. Take from good source the CSAT guidance. If you're not good at math, develop basic skills of some of the CSAT parts. Those questions always come, logical, the inference questions, logical ability questions, analytical questions that you have to solve. They always come, of both the hard also, easy also, and moderate also. Comprehension. So you should be good at all these things. You don't have to be excellent for CSAT qualifying. You don't have to be excellent at math. You just have to be good at figuring out kahan se kaise questions are and then solve them. All right. So that's what I wanted to do for CSAT. For GS paper 1, what I wanted to do is I want you to have a very clear line of thought how I am going to prepare for it. Classical sources, concept should be very, very clear. Then once your concepts and foundations are clear, then you started going into the details. Then you started going into the hard details and prepare for an exam like an exam. Like wartime and peacetime. Peacetime you prepare, get your concepts clear, get your foundations clear, make a good base, have an understanding, look at the PYQs, look at the syllabus, or at the topics that are given in the syllabus. And after that, when the wartime is close by, when the exam is 4 months away, you get into the hard zones. You're practicing papers, you're doing a lot of test series. You are going into the details of things. You are organizing your thought and your preparation. You are thinking about time management. Or how are you organizing your thought and your preparation? Whatever you are reading, you are reading it from different aspects. Look at the UPSC questions this year and think of those aspects. That are you covering those aspects? For example, if a question has been asked about which particular lake lies in which particular river in the way, or whether it ends there, that question has been asked this year. Then when you are doing river preparation, when you are understanding the rivers of India, wetlands of India, make a map. Mark those lakes around those rivers, mark those wetlands around those rivers, and Just do a quick research of that particular wetland. If you are reading about a particular species, there are major species. Learn about those major species. If you're reading a current affair, a lot of these questions are being framed around current affairs, right? Current affairs, don't read them at the face value that something is mentioned and you just know it. No. Understand the background of it. Understand what exactly goes behind that concept. That if some event is happening, if they're asking a question about the bees, a particular dance done by the bees, you obviously have to go. That was probably came in some current affairs, somewhere it was there in Hindu or the Indian Express. Now you are not expected to remember all that, but they are just trying to test your curiosity, and you don't have to get every question right. All this, what I've noticed is that a lot of these questions become popular in social media, reels or coaching institutes talk about these questions. But do you have to get all these questions correct? No, you have to just get the questions that are there in the classic sources correct. That information you should get very, very comfortable with. Okay, so I want you to, number one, CSAT, prepare this way. In GS1, if you are getting anything less than 40 marks, even 50 marks, 50 marks, that means your preparation is not up to the mark and you have to do a reality check. There is no way you are getting 50 marks, below 50 marks because of the paper, how hard the paper was. You are getting below than 50 marks because your preparation was not up to the mark. If you are getting anything above 55, 60 marks, that means your preparation was good, but unfortunately, because the paper was made in such way and the options were in such a way that you might have got a little bit worried and you might have got nervous and anxious. That's why the paper might have gone badly. Okay. So if that is the case, I want you to relax because it happens and unfortunately it will cost you an important part of your time, but it is gone. It is a thing that cannot come back. The past cannot be back. We cannot get it back. Okay, so overall, these are my views. The change in pattern, the change in the questions, the kind of questions. Number one. Number two, the way you expected things to happen and the way they happened, right? Number three, how you should go for CSAT, how you should go for GS1. If you are getting anything above 80, how should you prepare now? And if you are getting anything below 50, you need a reality check. And lastly, if you are thinking of going to the private sector, having a plan B, how you should think about it. I've tried to do all this in a short video so that you are able to understand. I will talk in detail about this. Don't worry, I will go ahead and talk in detail about all these things. About the paper also, I will analyze it for you guys, but it will take some time. I'm not like others who will rush into things just for views. I want you to know that things happen. Everything that happens good takes time. Everything you have to build good takes time. You have to be patient. Okay, so be patient with me and I hope you enjoy it like aaj ka video. I have done it in a little bit of a hurry because I've been very, very busy with a lot of things going in my life. But that being said, I wish you best of luck, and if you have any questions, let me know. Very soon I'm going to get some of the more toppers to talk about their experiences so far, their future, so that we can have good conversations, we can learn from them positively. Alright, thanks, take care, have a good day, bye, and let me know in the comments. I will try to get back.